Hello, everybody. So, welcome to my live session today. My name is Isema Kawikune. I am the founder of Teen Ignite Academy and the founder of the Parenting Hub. The Parenting Hub is a hub for parents. Teen Ignite Academy is the academy for teenagers and younger children. So if your children are not in any of these community, what's your excuse? What's your excuse? Why are they not there? Right? Why are they not? All right, so today we are looking at something I titled Why Good Parents Still Have Children Who Don't Listen. Yes, a lot of us just, there's these questions I've received over and over again, and I try to, run research, try to research on it, try to get do something like a sampling with parents to find out what's actually the challenge they're having at home. And most of the challenges are, or most of the feedbacks is always, or are always, my child does not listen. I don't know how to talk. I talk to them, they don't listen to me. I get frustrated easily and then I hit them, and so on and so forth. So it's almost like a common challenge, right, that parents are having. So today, I just want us to look at why good parents still have children who don't listen. And if you haven't signed up for our upcoming course for parents, um, the course is getting your child to listen, or how to discipline your child, or how to discipline a child who doesn't listen. Yes, because of the plenty requests I've received concerning this topic, this particular topic, we decided to put it in a webinar, how to discipline a child that doesn't listen. So if you feel your child still falls into this category, make sure you don't miss the webinar, especially now that the summer holiday is coming. I don't want anybody coming to my DM to shout, to tell me they're tired of shouting, they're frustrated, they want to run, and the rest of them. Come and learn, come and listen, come and understand why your child is behaving the way they are behaving. Come and understand what is driving the emotion of your child. Come and understand what you can do better to get your child to listen more. All right. So now we're going to be learning how to understand the reasons behind disobedience and what you, the parents, can do to help your child. So I want to start by saying that good parenting does not guarantee perfect behavior. This is where a lot of us are missing it. So a lot of us just assume, oh, because I'm a good parent, because I behave well, because I am organized, because my child will naturally align. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So last time I made a post, or I said something about pastors and their children, and why pastors' children. You see a lot of pastors' children who deviate from, the moral of bringing and the rest. And I try to explain why that happens almost all the time, right? So it takes a lot of intentionality. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of intentional work to be able to bring up your children in the way that you desire and the way that God has instructed you to do so. So when we begin to feel that, oh, because I'm a good parent, because I'm a good mother, because I do things orderly, because I'm orderly, because I'm coordinated, because I'm organized, because I'm this, my child will naturally align. That's a big mistake that a lot of us are still making till today. That's one big mistake I see parents, it's an error of assumption. It's a big error on the part of the parents. So children are not robots. They are not programmed to obey every instruction. So children don't just come and listen to every instruction you give. You say turn left, they turn left. You say turn right, they turn right. They are humans, right? They are human beings who are trying, who are learning to manage their emotions, to manage their self-esteem, to manage self-control, to make decisions, to navigate the world. So everything around them is just happening at the same time. Everything is happening almost at the same time. And these children are trying to ask a lot of questions. They're trying to figure out things. They're trying to understand why something is happening. They're trying to manage their emotions. They're trying to manage sibling rivalry. They're trying to manage almost everything. And then there's a parent who is always dishing out instructions and expects them to obey all the time. So you see, it's a lot. It's a lot for them, right? It's a lot for them. So listening is a skill. That is one thing you should always understand as a parent. Write it somewhere, note it in your heart, take a mental note of what I've just said. That listening is a skill that children develop over time. So this, my child don't listen, my child don't listen, my child didn't listen, does not listen, does not listen. Your child is not listening because it might be that they haven't been able to develop their listening skill. So listening on its own is a skill that children develop as they grow, right? It is influenced, their listening skill is influenced by one, their age. The listening skill of a child is influenced by number one, the age of the child. How old is this child that we're talking about? Are we talking about a toddler? Are we talking about a preteen? Are we talking about a teenager? How old is your child? Is one question you should be asking yourself. Another thing is the temperament of your child. Children have different temperaments. We've tried to dissect this in the parenting hub in the community. What is your child's temperament? What is your child's temperament? Are you raising a sensitive child? Are you raising an active or, you know, a very active child? Are you raising a melancholic? Are you raising a choleric? Are you raising a sanguine? Are you raising a child? What is your a phlegmatic? What is your child's temperament? This you should put in consideration before ever you begin to scream, my child does not listen, my child does not listen, right? So listening is influenced by your child's age, your child's temperament, your child's emotion. Your child's emotion. As a parent, you should be able to note all this. You should be able to answer this question. You should be able to understand these things about your child. Another thing is your child's environment affects their listening skill. Is your child in an environment that allows growth, that allows them to listen, or in an environment that doesn't even allow children to listen, right? That influence them negatively? These are the things you should also pay attention. And then finally, the fifth thing that influences your child's listening skill is your relationship with your child. Many of you don't have relationship with your children. A lot of you are not connected to your children. There's no connection, there's no relationship, there's nothing going on. So how will the child listen? Do you go about listening? Even you as a parent, do you go about listening to everybody you see, everybody that comes your way, everybody that talks to you? So if that relationship is not there, you're more or less a stranger to your child. That's why when you talk, the child doesn't listen. The child doesn't want to listen because your words don't hold water. There's no relationship. There's nothing binding you. So it's more like you are a stranger to your child. So these are the 5 things that influences the listening skill of children. Number 1 is the child's age. Number 2, the temperament of the child. Number 3, the emotion of the child. Number 4, the environment of the child. And number 5, the relationship with their parents, the child's relationship with their parents. These are the things that influences your child listening skill. And then number 6, let me just add this as an addition. The 6th thing that influences your child's listening skill is the way you give instruction. The way you give instruction. How do you give your instruction? How do you give your instruction? These things affect your child's listening skill. It affects the way your child listens. All right. So being a good parent, just like I have said, parenting, being a good parent will guarantee a perfect child is one of the parenting myths I've ever heard. Being a good parent does not guarantee a perfect child. Everyone is running their race. The child is running his or her race. You are running your race. Your husband is running their. Everyone is running their. So why do you think that by mere being a good parent, your child will naturally align? It doesn't work that way, and is one of the highest lies or myth that we have ever heard in the um, parenting industry, right? So parenting does not work that way. It doesn't. It doesn't. Parenting doesn't because my child is listening, therefore, because I am a good parent, therefore my child automatically becomes a good parent. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Children are individuals with unique personalities. They have a unique personality. I have my unique personality. My mom has her unique personality, and so do every one of my siblings. So why do you think that by mere being good, your child will inherit goodness? Nobody inherits goodness. Nobody inherits goodness. This is one lie we tell ourselves all the time. Nobody. Goodness is not transferable. Goodness is not transferable. Good habit is not transferable. Good behavior is not transferable. Good character is not transferable. They are not inherited. They are built. They are developed. So your child needs to develop their listening skill. You need to help your child to develop their listening skill. Listening skill is not inherited. Good character is not inheritable. Good behavior is not inheritable. Good looks are not, or good behavior are not inheritable. These are things that are intentionally developed, intentionally built. They are built with intentionality. They are developed with intentionality. So your child will not inherit your good behavior, your good parenting skill, or your good attitude just because you're good. You need to intentionally teach them. You need to intentionally teach them. I guess this is one of the things the Bible was talking about in Deuteronomy 6 when he mentioned that these words I instruct you today, or these commands I give you today, teach them to your children when they sleep, when they wake up, when they move by the roadside, when they stand, when they everywhere. Make sure you're teaching. Make sure you're teaching. Right? So children are individuals with unique personalities. The personalities are different. You may have 4 children with 4 different personalities. You will have, if you like, have 10 children. You may have 10 children with different personalities. No children are the same. No 2 children are the same. No 2 children are the same. That's why I find it very funny when parents come to school to compare their children with another person's child. I've shared a story of a mother who came, during my days in the private school, who came to me. My friend's child can read 1 to 100, and you need to see the way she reads it very fluently, very loud, very confident. Meanwhile, my own child can't read can't count. I beg your pardon. Can't count 1 to 10. Can't count 1 to 10. And I looked at her and I said to her, do you really understand the personality of the child you're raising? At that point, I wasn't a parent coach. I didn't know anything about parenting. I didn't know anything about, but I knew that there was a difference between her child's personality and the personality of the child she has just described. Because her child is this very quiet, sensitive, no troublesome child, always calm, ready to learn, doesn't disturb, doesn't bother, doesn't, this kind of girl. And that's a sensitive child. That's a phlegmatic child there. And then somebody somewhere is either a choleric or a sanguine, somebody who is extra extrovert, a child who is extrovert, and you're coming to compare your child who is an extrovert with another child who is an introvert. And you're complaining, my first child can count 1 to 100, my child can barely count 1 to 10. Hello, ma, do you really understand your child's personality? That was the question I asked her. Do you understand your child's personality? Because mere looking at you, your child took after your personality. You're a flag. You're a flag. You're a flag. You barely talk when people are around. So why do you want your child to inherit what you have not taught them? Why do you want your child to inherit another person's personality? Let's go. So children have their own personality. And these are things that parents must pay attention to. Number 2, children have different temperaments. Children have different temperaments. Different temperament. Some are sanguine, some are choleric, some are phlegmatic, some are melancholy. They have different temperaments. So don't expect them to act the same way. Do not expect all your children to behave the same way. Their temperaments are different. Therefore, their behavior must be different. When you understand these things, you're able to understand why your child does not take instructions immediately, or how your child wants to be instructed. That's where a lot of us are missing. Children want to be different temperament, require different mode of instruction. The problem is that a lot of parents want to use one size fits all, right? One size fits all approach in their parenting, which is actually an error. And that is what is causing you all the frustrations you're experiencing. Now, the third thing there is that children are individuals with strong emotions. So how you're instructing your child matters. What's your tone? What's the mode of instruction? What's the tone of your instruction? How are you instructing your child? These are things that matters. So before you come to say, my child doesn't listen, my child doesn't listen, have you paid attention to all these things I've mentioned? Lesson number 4. Children are individuals with developing brains. Scientists say, right? So I'm a biology teacher, read biology, read psychology. So part of the things I have discovered as a biologist is that the brain comes to full development at the age of 25. So the prefrontal cortex, which is actually for reasoning, making smart choices, making decisions, and the rest, comes to full development at the age of 25. So it means that below that age, expect some errors, expect some misbehaviors, expect some attitude, right? Because of the developing brain. So your child's brain is still developing. You need to accommodate a lot of mess until they come to the full development of their brain. You need to accommodate it. You need to accommodate it. You need to pay attention. You need to you need to consider all these factors. You need to consider these factors. The problem we have is that we don't learn. We don't want to learn. When they say come for webinar, I'm busy. I teach my child. I'm not interested because we feel we know. The day we stop learning is the day we start dying. That's what a lot of us have for good to understand. That's what a lot of us haven't really understood. That we need to learn. We need to learn. It's only in parenting I see that people don't really regard learning. That's the truth. That's the only place I see that people don't regard learning. You want to drive a car, you go and learn. You want to ride the plane, you learn. You want to become a professor, you learn. You want to become a teacher, you go and learn. You want to become a seamstress, you go to the place where they will teach you. You want to become, for everything you want to, anything at all you want to become, you go for learning, for learning. Why is it that when it comes to, I want to be a parent, we just feel automatically we have all it takes to navigate. And then by the time you hit the first 5 years, you begin to struggle. You begin to get frustrated. You begin to you begin to go a lot of you begin to go through a lot of crisis. And by the time it finally dawn on you that, oh, I've made a lot of mess, most times it's already late. A lot of the time it's already late. Why are we not learning? Why are we not improving? Why are we not taking learning seriously? You bring free webinar, they won't come. You bring paid webinar, they won't come. You give free book, they won't buy. You give paid one, they won't buy. What is the problem? Why are we not open to learning? That's my question. That's my question. That's one challenge I have with parents. That's why when you come to me, after you've made your mess, and you come and remedy it, welcome. Welcome. Now, the sixth thing that parents must understand is that, okay, number 5, is that children are individuals with personal preferences. Your choice can't always be the right choice all the time. Your decisions can't always be right all the time. Children have their own preferences. That's one thing you should pay attention to. A child's behavior is influenced by many factors beyond parenting. The way a child behaves is influenced by many factors beyond parenting. Beyond parenting. Beyond parenting. Good parenting increases the likelihood of positive behavior, but it does not eliminate the challenges. It doesn't eliminate the challenges. It may influence it. It may, okay, my mother is good. I have to be this. My father is this. I have to be this. But it doesn't guarantee, it's not a guarantee that you will raise a child who is well behaved. It's not a guarantee that you will raise a child with good behavior. So let's stop lying to ourselves. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Let's stop living in the oblivion, that because we are good parents, our children will naturally align. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't work that way. Even parents who are responsible, who are loving, who are intentional, they still experience a lot of tantrums, a lot of defiant behavior, back talk, resistance, poor decisions from the children. These moments are not necessarily signs of parenting failure. They are often signs of normal child development. So we need to understand that. We need to understand that. We need to pay attention to that. We need to pay attention to that. Now, let's look at why children don't listen. So for every one of you who have complained, who have reached out, who have said, this my child does not listen. This my child does not listen. Everything I say will not listen. Let's look at why your child, the reason why your child is not listening. Why you as a good parent is not raising that child of your dream, right? So number one, their brains are still developing. Like I mentioned earlier, the brain of a child comes to full maturity, full development. The prefrontal cortex, you can Google it, you can find it. It comes to full development at the age of 25. So before the age of 25, expect a lot of exuberance, expect defiance, expect tantrum, expect talkbacks, expect different, different, different types of error from a child. Expect it. It's normal. It's normal because the brain is still developing. The brain is still developing, right? So children are often known, or children often know what they should do, but struggle to do it consistently. It's not like they don't know. They know. They know what to do. They know what to do. They know what to do, but they struggle to do it consistently. They know the things that are expected of them, but they lack the discipline to do those things. Why? Because the brain that is responsible for self-control, for planning, for impulse management, for decision making is still under construction. The brain that is responsible for self-control, something is about you control yourself, for planning the child's life, for impulse management, and for decision making is still under construction. It's still being built. It's still being developed. It's still being, it's still in a process. It hasn't come to full maturity. So children are here today, they're here. They're just, it's not like they don't know what to do, but they lack it because the brain that controls it is still not ready. The brain that controls it is still not ready, right? So now, let's take for instance, when you ask your 6-year-old to put away their shoes, on their way to their room, they see a toy and they immediately begin to play. It happens a lot. You say, take your shoe inside. As they move, they see a toy. They leave the shoe there and play has started. Why? It's not rebellion. Why is it happening? Why is it happening? It's immaturity. The child has not really learned to focus. The child has not learned to carry out instructions without distraction. The child has not learned to manage their decisions. The child is just a child. The child is just a child because the brain that is responsible for controlling all these behaviors is still under construction. They're still building it, they're still molding it, they're still mixing cement to create it. It's still under construction. It's still being built. It's still being built, right? So instead of assuming defiance, this child does not listen, this child is very stubborn, I tell that to do something, will not do. Why don't you create reminders, create routines, create guidance, create what will help the child, create what will help the child. If the child is the type that when you send them to do something, before they get there, they've forgotten, why don't you create a reminder for the child? I remember when we were in secondary school, my mom used to do something very unique. Every time, you know, we are going out, every time we are going to school, because we come back before her. She leaves the house sometimes earlier than us, and then we come back at noon and she comes in the evening. So when she wants us to do a particular task or she wants us to eat a particular food in the afternoon, she'll write a note and keep it. She'll put the note where we'll sit. Sometimes she will tell us that I've written this note for you people. So when you come, go through the note so that you will know what you are expected to do. That's because you understand that if that note is not there, there will be trouble. She will come back and all the tasks she has given has not been followed. And I do same for my kids as well. Whenever I have the opportunity to leave the house and they're in the house, I try to keep a note of what they are expected to do. I have said that expectation, letting your children know your expectation is a parenting skill. Listing your expectation, understand, getting your children to understand your expectation of them is a listening skill. This is what is expected of you. So help them to create routine. Help them to create reminders. Help them to create guidance. Help them. As you do it, they begin to consistently follow. They follow because you're modeling it. You're modeling it. So rather than shout, hey, frustration, this guy is frustrating me, this guy is killing me. I told you to go and do every time I go to work. I come back, all the instructions have not been followed. Ma, can you create a routine and a reminder for your children? Can you create a reminder for them? Can you put a reminder? Can you get something, sticky notes on the wall? Can you write a note and keep for them? Can you help them to remember? Can you help them to remember? Right? Now, number 2 reason why you see your children don't listen is because there's no connection. Connection is missing. Because connection is missing. Children naturally listen better to people they feel emotionally connected to. And that's the truth. Even us as adults, we listen to people we feel emotionally connected to. So when your child is not emotionally connected to you, how will they listen? You're a stranger. Your words will sound like that of a stranger. Is it not the Bible that said that the voice of a stranger they will not follow? Right? So when your voice is sounding like that of a stranger to your children, how will they follow? How will they follow? Have we thought of all this? Have we thought of all this? Now, when your interaction with your children are dominated by criticism, you will not do it well. I know you will not do it well. I know you cannot do it. You're always criticizing, always seeing the negative, always criticizing. Everything about it is the negative. You're seeing the negative. You're seeing the negative. You're seeing the negative. Connection begins to widen. To widen. You begin to expand the gap in your connection with your child. Another thing is nagging. If you're the parents that nag every time, the whole compound is hearing your voice, everywhere is shaking, everybody. The moment you're in the house, everybody knows. Everywhere. You will lose connection with your child. You will lose connection with your child. Even adults. Even adults. I remember back then in our workplace, the people that scream the more, the superiors or the senior staffs that shout a lot are the ones we avoid more because you don't want to trouble. You know that they're coming is trouble. So why do you feel that turning yourself into a radio, always talking, always screaming, always that your child will automatically begins to listen? It doesn't, right? When you nag, when your nagging is 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 now consistent, when you're now the highest nagger, everybody knows your children will begin to lose connection. The connection between you and your child will begin to deteriorate. Now the next one is shouting, right? A lot of us have now believed that, oh, we can't actually raise children without shouting. I remember one time when we were running an ad for a program, from yelling to calmness, and a lot of parents came on that ad to make silly comments. Who are you to tell us that we cannot raise children? Who are you? You who have started with all these things. You who have started with all these things. Is it possible to raise children without shouting? Is it possible to raise children without yelling? African children, how do you want to raise children? Bible says, do not raise the child and spoil the rod. Or they say, do not raise do not spare the rod and spoil the child. Everybody was just lamenting. Every one of them were lamenting. But it doesn't matter. We were not bothered. We're sure of what we're saying. We're sure of what we're saying. Now the next one is command. Command. If you're the parent who is always commanding, you're the chief commandant. There's no room for connection. It's all about commanding, commanding. Go and do this, go and do that. I said, you don't know. It's me that said, it's me that said. I am telling you, do you know who you're talking? God, please, can you come down from your high horse and build a connection with your children? Is it possible for you to come down from your high horse and really build a connection with your children and forget about commanding? You're not in the army barrack. You're not in the army, you're not in the field. Commanding is for commandants. Parents build connection. They instruct, they teach, they guide, they discipline, they disciple. That's the work of a parent. Not a commandant. I command you. I command you. It must be God to be commanding, right? So when you put all these things when you bring them into your parenting, you begin to raise children who will resist you. You see your children begin to build wall that have resistance there. Why? Because you haven't really built connection. All right. Stop focusing on correction. Focus on connection. The trick or the